Good morning, Ken Hovind here, 6 a.m. Wednesday morning, September the 9th, 2015. So thank you for joining us. Sorry I didn't get time to do a broadcast yesterday. Been busy around here, but I got to leave early this morning for a bunch of projects. So I want to get some more of the testimony letters and then get into the creation versus evolution questions that have been sent in. No, atheism/evolution questions. So we'll get to that in just a minute here. Glad you joined us. For those new to the program, my name's Kent Hovind, former high school science and math teacher, 15 years. Moved to Pensacola '89 and began a ministry called Creation Science Evangelism, just simply defending the Bible as being scientifically accurate. And it angers the atheists and agnostics and morons. So I'm not trying to make anybody mad. I'm just saying, like, the Bible is true. God created the world, and you're going to stand before that God one day and be judged. And that gets them highly animated, to say the least. So anyway, we're glad you joined us this morning. If you have questions, you can get them to, let's see, I got an email, the Dr. Dino, that's me, at gmail.com, and we will get to them eventually if we can. I'm trying. Okay. That's about the only, if you have a, Hannah in South Carolina says, some people want to call you personally. That's fine, but I'd rather answer questions publicly so it helps more people, or hopefully helps more people. So that'd be much better. If you do send a question and include your phone number, there's a chance I'll call you. I make a lot of calls, and I'd be glad to do that. I want to help people strengthen their faith and get them to live for the Lord. Okay, this one from a month ago. Sorry about that. No, more than a month ago now. Anthony writes in, we don't know each other personally, Kent, but I wanted to congratulate you on making it through our messed up system. Yes, Anthony, our system is messed up. When you lock a man up for almost 9 years for taking his own money out of his own bank to pay his own bills, that is, something is really messed up with that system. So you can study all that on Lone Star 1776. I did a lot of programs on that YouTube channel about the case and the system. What a stupid law to begin with, and a draconian enforcement of the law. And I didn't break any laws anyway. I did a 4 radio programs yesterday. One of them asked, did you learn your lesson? I said, what lesson? Well, about following the law. I said, I follow the law. I didn't break any laws. Did Jesus break any laws? They killed him. Hello, you don't have to break laws to go to prison, or you can get killed. Anyway, what did the Jews do wrong in Nazi Germany? Anthony said, we don't making it through our system. Okay, I love your old work and creation seminars. I can't wait to see new things from you. Keep up the fight. God bless you and your family, Anthony. Well, Anthony, we hope in Dallas next month to be able to re-video the whole, much of the seminar and add to it a section on end time. So keep an eye on 2peter3.com, the number 2, the word Peter, and the number 3. And hopefully we'll be able to get a whole new video series up there with everything new and improved and added detail. 2 Peter 3 talks about the scoffers in the last days being willingly ignorant of the creation, the flood, and the coming judgment. Well, I talked about the creation and the flood, and this chart behind me shows the basic Bible view that 6,000 years ago, God created everything. 4,400 years ago, there's a flood that destroyed the world in the days of Noah, and then Jesus came 2,000 years ago, and here we are today, waiting for the Lord to come back. The creation and the flood I cover in video series, I think, thoroughly as I knew how, and that sure makes some skeptics angry. I know, that's okay. They get angry no matter what you do. But the coming judgment is where I had to switch my theology in the last 6 or 7 years. We're going to be here for the tribulation, and that's what my new book is about. And I mailed out a bunch yesterday. I hate to do that as a fundraiser, but that's all I've got to give. This is the book I wrote in prison, one of the 37 books I wrote in prison. For those who give a gift to help get the ministry going again, we have just a few left. We just had a small number printed, so if you want one, get a hold of Ernie quickly. Ernie Land, docfog at docfog.com, and we'll be glad to mail. It costs $32 to mail to foreign countries. I couldn't. That was interesting. Anyway, beach driving it there, I guess. Okay, let's see. So keep up the good fight. So thank you. Glad you love the old series. Though God really blessed those. We retaped that probably 20 times over the years, and we'll probably keep retaping the rest of my life. But to try to improve and stay up on the latest. So thank you. I'm glad that helped. Thanks to you, Anthony says, I believe that true science shall prevail over the devil's tweaks of evolution and aliens. Yeah, good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Eddie writes in and says, let's see, I'm one of the few atheists that are happy to see you free. Congratulations. Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate it. Now, you keep studying, you won't be an atheist anymore. Uh, I'll help you out. We can get you out of that mess. It's a real shame to see how harshly they treated you. Well, that's the truth. I mean, atheist or not, what they did to me is just plain wrong. So that needs to be fixed. I mean, I definitely believe you deserve some time. Now, Eddie, there you're wrong. Show me what law I broke. Show me the law. I'd like to see that. But it was obvious that you made the wrong person mad and that you were being targeted and or being made an example of. Well, if our system in America is a justice system where you make a person mad and they can use the law to get back at you, something is seriously flawed with the system. Okay, this is not a whipping post. This is not a club that anybody gets to use to get rid of their political enemies. Okay, let's see. Anyway, congratulations. I look forward to critiquing all of your future videos. You're welcome to join the crowd. Man, there is so many anti-Hovind videos out there. It's funny. I have a blast. And the stuff they do, they'll cut and paste little clips here, little sentences here and there, and make put things together. And I watched one this morning. It's 6 o'clock now. I've been up for a while. But it was hilarious. You see, you guys have nothing else to do with your time. Go mow your grass or something. Gee whiz. Okay, Brian writes, congratulations on your release. I was listening to the debate with Eugenie Scott. That was an interesting debate, Brian. They asked me to debate Eugenie Scott, the president of the National Center for Science Education. And if I recall, it was a 30-minute program, and she spoke for 24 minutes of the 30-minute. If you can find it, time it. How much actual speaking time did I get compared to what she got? I was trying to be a gentleman, thinking, hey, she's a lady. I should be, but I want half the time when I do a debate, 50% of the time. If it can be 100 against 1, I don't care, but I want half the time. That's only fair. Anyway, glad you enjoyed the debate. Let's see. She actually admitted the universe and life could have been formed by supernatural powers. Only a few minutes later, when you suggested we also teach creation in schools, her reply was, that cannot be taught because it's supernatural. Well, so is evolution. Supernatural. People say, should we teach creation in public schools? I say, well, there's a different question we got to ask first. Should we have public schools? If we're going to have them, then no religion should be taught. If you're going to teach one, like evolution, why not teach all? And where would that end? How many religions are there? I mean, there are some crazy ones out there. Are they all going to get equal time? I mean, it's stupid. No, evolution is right now the state-supported religion, and it should be stopped. If you're going to have public schools, which is a giant if, don't teach evolution or creation. You can teach all the anatomy and biology without mentioning evolution. Okay, boys and girls, this is the clavicle, this is the sternum, these are the ribs, you got the neck bones, the back bones, and the biceps, the triceps, the deltoid, the flexors, the extenders. You can teach all that stuff, the radius and the ulna. And if a kid says, well, how did we get that? Oh, we're not allowed to discuss that, kid. Just this is the way it is. Memorize it for the test. Evolution is unrelated to science, and it's a dangerous religion, and it's a waste of classroom time. See my video number 4, Lies in the Textbooks, which you can get from creationtoday.org. My son's ministry, or it's on YouTube. It's all over the place. Video number 4, Lies in the Textbooks, one of my favorite ones. Anyway, Brian. So yeah, Jeannie Scott did admit evolution could have been formed by supernatural powers, and then said we can't teach supernatural. That was hilarious. A good way to debunk evolution is to let them talk. That's the truth. It's funny watching them. The one at UT Knoxville, I asked the professor, I said, do you believe you came from a rock? He refused to answer the question. I think it was 10 times I asked him during the course of the debate. And I showed right from his textbook, 4.6 billion years ago, the Earth cooled down and developed a hard, rocky crust. And then it rained on the rocks for millions of years and created great oceans, which, of course, is going to contain dissolved minerals from the rocks. And then these minerals slowly got together and formed life. And then that became humans. So we came from a rock. That is exactly what they believe. They just don't like it. They don't like it pointed out so simply because it shows how just flat stupid that is. And I really enjoy doing it. And if that's a sin, the Lord's going to have to tell me himself, because I think it's fun to do. It's really fun making fun of that dumb religion. Okay. This shows how smart people can be so stupid. I agree, Brian. Let's see. I'm still waiting for Lawrence Krauss to get a university from nothing, or universe from nothing. Yeah, I guess I'll have to read his book. Look up Dr. Charles Jackson when you get a chance. He's a very good young earth creationist with a good sense of humor and cynical edge. I just got done reading Frank Turek's new book. Very good. Have a nice evening. Okay, thank you. Jake writes in, thank you so much for all you've shared with the world. You have taught me so much, which has strengthened my faith tremendously. Well, thank you, Jake. Please spread it around. There's only like 7 billion people on the planet. At the rate I'm going, reaching a few thousand or a few million, it's going to take 50 lifetimes to, so spread it around. F. Fulton, or Lydia writes, I'm sorry, Lydia. Hi, I want to say thank you for all you've done and do. So thankful and glad you are home. God bless you and yours. My son met you many years ago and has loved you ever since. His name is Seth. Here's a picture of him when you come to North Carolina, when you came to North Carolina in 2005. I don't have the picture on the email. Sorry about that, Lydia, but tell Seth, hi, get to work. Do something for God with your life. Okay, Matt writes, just wanted to message you and tell you you're a personal hero of mine. Well, thank you. I'm honored, but be careful with that because I may stumble and fall and do something stupid and fall into sin. I hope not. I'm going to try not to, but you don't want to put me on a pedestal. It's Jesus Christ you want to put on that pedestal. Anyway, I first started watching your debates on YouTube 4 years ago and was absolutely transfixed. Matt, those debates are so fun. I can't find another opponent. I've had 105 debates now, and nobody else will do it. They want to get in front of their students where they have an obvious academic and psychological advantage. I mean, hello, they can fail them, and they don't want to take on somebody they don't have any control over. So, let's see. I once dared to write a paper in high school criticizing the theory of evolution, and my teacher made it very clear he did not like evolution being questioned. Before I saw your debates, I knew of some of the countless problems of evolution, but was not very well informed. After I watched your first debate against a man named Dr. Rainbow, that was a fun one, my jaw was quite literally open throughout the entire duration of the debate because I simply was in awe of how easily you destroyed his arguments. Matt, it's not that I'm smart, it's that their theory is stupid. It's easy. It's fun picking on that dumb theory. Now, you believe you came from a rock? And one atheist, I was in, where was I at? Canada, up there. And this guy, we had question answer time. Afterwards, a big long line of people standing in line to ask questions at the microphone. And this one young kid said, he said, evolution is a fact. And I said, well, I have a question, son. If evolution is true, how do you tell right from wrong? He said, I decide what's right and wrong. He said, I'm the God of my own universe. I said, wow, I'm glad to hear about that because I'm going to shoot you in 5 minutes. He said, you can't do that. I said, well, yeah, I can. I'm the God of my own universe. I decided it's fine for me to shoot you. Yeah. Anyway, that was fun. Matt writes, I had never heard of polystratofossils and the fact that life does not come from nothing, non-living material, or entropy. I was astonished to find out how evolution has tried to convince people that snakes have small remnants of legs on them. That is true. That evolution, and the textbooks teach, snakes have these little leg bones, which proves they used to have legs and they lost it. First of all, that's losing something, not gaining something. I mean, going from a leg, which is a very complex mechanism, down to having no legs is a loss of information. That's not going to help your theory. What evidence do you have of any increase, not decrease, in genetic information? Secondly, it's simply not true. Those little bones in the abdomen of the snake attach to a little claw called the mating claw. Without those bones and that little mating claw, the snakes cannot reproduce. I mean, they have no hands, and no arms. You study it out. Never mind. Okay. It's tough. It's tough on the snakes, but they seem to survive and make more babies, no problem. And it's because they got those little claws. It's got nothing to do with walking on land. It has to do with making baby snakes. Morons. The world is getting full of them. Let's see. Let's see. You said they are simply claws designed to assist in mating. That's correct. And have nothing to do with legs. That's correct, Matt. I was instantly hooked after watching your first debate and have watched every single one of the debates many, many times. I never wavered in my Christian faith during my time in secular school, but I have questions about certain things after having evolution shoved down my throat all 4 years of high school. let's see. I've read this and highlighted a couple things here, Matt. I will read all the testimonies, by the way, and thank you so much. It's so touching to know that what a little bit I've done for the Lord has helped other people. Thank you. What a blessing that is. But I will not take time to read all these or answer all these. I just wanted to thank you for what you're doing. You are to debating what Michael Jordan is to basketball. Wow. Simply the best. Well, thank you. I don't know about that. Please never stop doing what you do. You're an incredible person. Thank you and God bless. Michael Davis, well, I hope I got the right email address. Michael, I apologize. I have 2,000 email waiting in 2 email boxes. I work long hours every day. I'm trying, but I'm not going to be able to. I want on my tombstone when I die. I tried to get it done. I'm just not going to get it all done. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to travel and speak. Come to the meeting, and I take time, and when I preach and have Q&A time and go out to eat with people, and I try to give myself as much as I can. So I'll be glad to do that. But I will get to the email eventually, maybe. Okay. If this is Dr. Hovind, then please assure me that I can ask a couple questions and also ask advice as a growing Christian trying to serve our Lord Jesus. Thank you and God bless. And you give an email here. I simply cannot yet, anyway, get involved in doing email correspondence back and forth because that's all I would ever do. I simply cannot. Okay, I've got 25 more pages of testimony letters, but let me go to the ones that have been sent in. Atheism/evolution questions. Thank you, Hannah, for putting all this together. Jimmy writes, my name is Jimmy from Port Neches, Texas. I'll try to get the accent. I actually met you at a Bigfoot conference in Conroe, Texas. I remember that, Jimmy. A group of folks asked me to come speak. They have a conference where they talk about Bigfoot sightings. Well, that's one of hundreds, maybe thousands of rabbits I chase as I go through the woods. And I mentioned something about Bigfoot, one of my seminars. I don't know what it is. I mean, but they asked me to come speak on it. So I went there and told them, I don't know what it is, but here's the sightings, and here's the stories, here's the testimonies. And it could be one of the following 4 or 5 options. I covered that on video number 7, I think, Q&A. Anyway, glad you enjoyed the conference, Jimmy. Let's see. Your ministry has truthfully affected my family's worldview in a positive way. I'm so happy that you are finally released from that ridiculous prison sentence. Me too, Jimmy. Anyway, my children have been greatly influenced by your teachings. You are very strong and bold in your beliefs. They are very strong and bold in their beliefs for their age. My youngest 2, one in middle school, the other in elementary, have both stood up to the evolution-based teachings in their respective classrooms. They defend the biblical age of the earth and will not let the teacher get away with the millions of years garbage. Well, good. That's good and bad. We shouldn't be sending kids off to war. They should go to school and have a good time. This is not the parents ought to be fighting this battle, not the kids. Get that stupid stuff out of the textbooks, and that's something the parents ought to be doing, and the Congress ought to be doing, not the students. But anyway, I'm glad they stand up. I mean, we're in a situation where you're just going to have to. Sorry about that. They defend the biblical age of the earth. Let's see. One actually stayed in the classroom during recess and wrote down the creation truth, followed by the path to salvation on the blackboard. His teacher later told him she was proud of him and she was a Christian, but, well, she had to teach the material she had. Technically, that is not true, Jimmy. Teachers deviate from the lesson plans and material all the time. They're not bound by all that stuff. And they're not required to teach evolution as a fact. They can teach it as a religion, as a worldview. And any teacher can say, okay, kids, the textbook says the earth is 4.6 billion years old. However, this is not correct for the following 25 reasons, and list some of the reasons. That's perfectly fine. Science has a long history of teaching things that are wrong, and somebody has to stand up and do something about it. They taught George Washington's doctors that if you're sick, you have bad blood. Take out your blood, you'll get better. It's called the doctrine of humors. And George died when they took his blood out, like duh. The doctors were sincere, intelligent, godly men who were doing the best they knew, and what they knew to do was wrong. So it's possible that you have some teachers that are sincere, dedicated, even godly maybe, and they're teaching something that's just simply not true because that's what they were taught. And so they're not required to teach that evolution garbage. Okay, my question is, as a parent, what effective steps can I take to get the lies out of the textbooks? Well, rather than try to get creation in, which I don't think will work and is already legal anyway, just simply get lies out of the textbooks. I cover that. I did a video for 2 hours on ideas. It's not in the creation series. It's not in the debate series. I think it's in the CSE classroom series. Call creationtoday.org and ask them. That's 877 toll free 479-DINO, D-I-N-O, which is 3466. And ask them where Dr. Hovind teaches on what you can do in the public schools. What practical steps can you do? If they no longer have that, let me know, and I will produce another video on that. But I gave 2 hours worth of answers, I think, on some practical steps to take. What can I do about what they're teaching me? I did a book series, Help, I'm a public school student, and they're teaching me evolution. What can I do? And that's got 7 books in the series, only 2 of which are done and published. We'll be working on the rest of them here. Whenever, trying. Okay, so that covers a lot of the practical steps. But you can pick on one lie in the textbook. Just pick out one and force them to eliminate it by the court system if you have to. Go to the school board. First go to the teacher and say, teacher, this on page 95 says the embryo has gill slits. I mean, come on, that was proven wrong in 1874. Get your documentation together, give it to them. I would like that page torn out of the textbook. Yeah, or blacked out, or a disclaimer put in the front saying, hey, this information on page 96 is not true. Don't just let a lie go by. I mean, stop it. And then after you do that one, then go to the next lie. Just do one at a time. Don't mention creation. Don't mention the Bible. Don't even tell them you're a Christian. It's unrelated to the topic. I just want the lies out of the textbooks. I think it was in a debate I was in. I mentioned a bunch of lies in the textbooks, and I said, this ought to be taken out of the book, and this ought to be taken out of the book. And the atheist I was debating said, well, Hovind, no, it was at Arkansas. They asked me to come speak to a committee of congressmen and representatives of Arkansas. Jim Holt and Jim Bob Duger, actually, were both congressmen from Arkansas at the time. They said, we want you to speak on lies in our textbooks in Arkansas. So I went to the committee, and I think it was the ACLU person after me that said, I may have the details wrong here, that said, Hovind wants to take these things out of our textbooks. Well, what are you going to replace it with? I said, you've got to be kidding. You're telling me I can't, you got these 50 lies in the textbooks that you use as evidence to support your theory and to help kids believe in your theory because you have to tell them these lies to get them to believe in it. And you're telling me we can't take these lies out until I get replacement information. So in other words, I have to find evidence for your theory, which I don't believe in, before I can take out the lies that you use to support your theory. Hello? Morons. Man, morons. Just get the lies out of the books. And if you don't have any evidence for your theory when we're done taking the lies out, get a new theory. Like, duh. Anyway, thank you. Jimmy. Henry writes in, thank God you're out of prison. I'm 15 years old, and will thank you that you had strengthened my faith in Jesus Christ. I discussed with a few atheists. They said they don't believe they came from a rock. Well, Henry, ask them where they come from. I did that one time. One person said, I don't believe I came from a rock. I said, okay, where did you come from? Well, we came from previous species. Okay, where did they come from? Well, they came from a macromolecule. Okay, where did that come from? Well, that was in the oceans, in the prebiotic soup. Okay, where did the soup come from? Well, it rained on the rocks for millions of years, and you can see it slowly dawn on them. I do believe I came from a rock. Yes, you do. Be careful walking in that parking lot out there. That might be Grandpa you're stepping on. Gee whiz. Okay. So they do believe they came from a rock, Henry. I know it rains on the rocks, but did they believe the rock had to do with life evolving? Yes, they do. It's a longer process. They hide it with the smoke and mirrors, but the rock would dissolve make the minerals into the water, and that would somehow come to life. Yes, they do believe they came from a rock, not directly, but indirectly. I think it was Pigliucci that I debated, UT Knoxville, Tennessee. After asking him about 10 times, do you believe you came from a rock? Finally, he was getting angry. He said, well, not directly. I said, okay, so we indirectly came from a rock. I didn't directly come from my grandfather either. I had a father in between. Okay, here we go. Jesse writes, I have an atheist aunt and I want to convert her to Christianity. How do I do that? Well, I don't know that you can, Jesse. You try, but ask her to watch one of my videos. If she says no, say, Aunt, I'll give you $10 if you'll watch it. No. $20. No. $5,000. Oh, okay. Once you get her to agree, okay, I will watch it for an amount of money, then go back and renegotiate the price back down to $5 or something. But one guy told me he paid his kids $1,000 each to watch my whole video series. Changed them forever, he said. Not that it's me, it's just, I think the information. I wish I had had all this 20 years or 30 years earlier. Just knowing the truth that, man, God's word is correct. Okay. Antonio writes in, Dr. Hovind, my name's Antonio. I've been a Christian since I was 12. I'm playing the electric guitar. Let's see. I wish I had known this when I was younger and attended university. Me too, Anthony. I'm 37 years old. When I was going to the university, I remembered it was an issue, but I said to myself, I will not believe anything about evolution they teach me. I remember in a philosophy class, I discussed with my teacher that was an agnostic. They talked about changes within the kind. Okay, Charles Darwin's book, I just got my library organized in the last couple of days. Charles Darwin's book on the origin of species, which is not the whole title and was not the subject of the book even. Charles Darwin, in his book, the real title to the book, which they don't want you to know about, I think. On the, let's see, get that square, Hovind, with the camera. On the origin of species, by means of natural selection or the preservation of favored races in the struggle for life. Favored races? What do you mean, Charlie? The white race is favored over the black race? That's exactly what Charlie meant. What is this origin of species? What's a species? Nobody's got a clear definition of what a species is. Dog and wolf are different species. It's the same kind of animal. The Bible says they bring forth after their kind. Anyway, the idea of favored races was big in Charlie's day. Back in 1859, we had the Civil War here in America and slavery and stuff like that. Let's see. So changes within the kind certainly happen, and that's all Darwin showed. He found 13 or 14 varieties of birds on the Galapagos Islands, finches. They're all finches. Same species, but different subspecies, based on the beak shape primarily, or their eating habits. And he did all these charts and graphs and says, oh, wow, I think all these species, all these birds have a common ancestor. I agree. It was a bird. That's not evolution. That's variation within the kind. Probably the original finch blew over from South America in a storm and landed on the Galapagos Islands. What are they, 200 miles out to sea or whatever they are? Okay, and then because there's 14 different islands or whatever it is, 15 to 13, different islands have different climates. It's a pretty strange area there. And some produce different kinds of foods, and therefore certain beak shapes survive better. Heavy beak if they have thick, tough seeds to crack. So sure enough, if these birds blow over there after a few generations, all the birds left alive have heavy beak. Yeah, that's because that's the food supply determines that. It doesn't create anything. I mean, why didn't they evolve a hammer? If it's a tough beak, never mind. So I covered that in video number 4, I think, lies in the textbooks about Darwin and his dumb theory and dumb book. Anyway, okay. So there are changes within the kind, which is what the Bible says. The animals are going to bring forth after their kind. And that's all we've ever seen. There are probably 100 varieties of corn. They got to number them when you drive down the cornfields. You know, there's species number or subkind or variety number, XYPQL or something. And it gives more oil, or one gives more gasoline. They make gas out of it or something. Special corn to get for gasohol, which is a dumb idea to begin with. Yeah, there's varieties of corn, and it's still corn. That's not evolution. Okay, one peer told me whales have lungs to breathe, and that is proof of evolution. Wow. Cars have tires to roll, and that's proof of evolution too. Yeah, and houses have roofs. Now that's proof for evolution. You need to get a new batch of peers, Antonio. This one, I'd get away from that one. If stupidity is contagious, you may catch it. Okay. They have lungs, so that's proof for evolution. How on earth? Okay, I said it was just a mutation. No, having lungs is not a mutation. Lungs are designed. They're amazing. They're like really amazing. I believe the total surface area of all the alveoli in the lungs is greater than a tennis court in one person's lungs if you spread them all out. It's something like it's amazing. Anyway, he told me it's hard to accomplish. It's very complex to have formed the lungs. Yeah, how about a designer? It's very complex to have a telephone, too. I mean, that's a complex machine in a little box. What's that mean? Well, somebody made it. And the lungs are extremely complex in a very small space. Well, that's proof somebody designed it that was really, really smart. We are out of time again. So he thinks that whales started to evolve by having lungs first. Well, Antonio, this friend can believe whatever he wants, but that is not science. That's fairy tale stuff. Okay. I'm excited to write the letter to you. I'm watching your videos daily. Thank you. Any advice you can give will help me a lot. To try to get stupid people to see that they're stupid, I don't know that there's a good way to do that. I just don't know. Good luck. Let him talk. They'll paint themselves into a corner on this one. They do every time. It's very nice to have access to you. I would like to learn a lot so I can talk to people that believe in evolution and convert them. Well, that's the goal, Anthony. Praise God. That's what I want everybody to do. I want you to watch this broadcast, learn what you can, eat the meat, spit out the bones, and then you go get somebody converted to a Christian. Get them saved. If you've never led a soul to Christ, you are missing the greatest joy on planet Earth. Watching someone else get saved and watching them grow as a Christian. Nothing like that. I got hooked on that 46 years ago as a brand new Christian. Said, wow, I want to do this the rest of my life. And I've been doing it, trying to. So if we can help in any way, please get a hold of us, thedrdino@gmail.com. And I think at 2peter3.com, they're going to organize where when you send an email, it'll automatically go into a category like atheism, evolution, Bible and health. There's a whole bunch. I haven't even started on that yet. So anyway, time's up. Got to go. A bunch of errands to run today. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Tell your friends about the program, please. And if you want to get one of the longevity charts, see Theodore at freekenthovind.com. If you want to get one of the What on Earth books is about to happen, what on earth is about to happen, for heaven's sake, there's a few of these left if you want to help with a donation. That's really all I've got right now, and I hate relying on donations. I just would rather produce a product people want and make it that way. I'm not going to get into the professional fundraising business. But if you want to help, we would certainly appreciate it and need it. We have multiple projects, and those who do donate to help get one of the books, I write them a personal letter explaining some of the top secret projects we're considering working on. Matter of fact, we're going in a few minutes to work on one of them with Ernie. So enough said. We'll try to get another broadcast in later today if I get back in time. So thank you so much for joining us. Look, if you're not saved, what on earth are you waiting for? Here the Lord loves you. He died for you. He rose from the dead. He wants to come live in your heart and change you and forgive you. Like, duh. Okay, Lord, would you please save me? It's that simple. If you really want him to forgive you and save you, he will. And then he moves in and begins growing inside of you. And we've talked about that in other broadcasts. But if you do get saved watching one of these programs, please tell me. I'd love to hear about that. If you send an email and want me to call you, include your phone number. And I will if I can. If you have questions, I'll be glad to do that. Thank you.